Even outside of the table, just walking around and all the breaks, just getting a chance to say hi. I mean, that's really why I'm here. There's a lot of good stuff for people to gain and glean off of. But I'm here for the brotherhood aspect.
The brotherhood of fatherhood?
Nothing wrong with that.
Brotherhood of fatherhood, just brotherhood. Just here to make friends, meet people,
right on,
socialize. Because a stay-at-home parent, just your priority is your kid, I don't hit the clubs on a weekly basis, let alone a nightly basis. I don't go out, my life is my kid. That's who you're going to take care of. So anytime you get a chance to just get out and socialize, I'm going to take every single opportunity. I'm going to rub every shoulder, as many elbows to elbows as I can. I'll even jump in the back room and do a little makeout session if you want, But
I'll not with me, but I can find you somewhere.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Tal too is looking to smash the man box.
I'll smash the man box all day long.
Well, Tal, quickly, you're a Portland native?
Well, not native. I'm actually a Washingtonian native. Joined the military, did that thing, came back to Oregon, but I'm back in Washington, so
Okay, and you've got one son, right?
I have a son, beautiful 3-year-old boy. He's a third generation Tao, which is awesome. We call him Trey. He's beautiful, smart, violent, and demonic, but mostly beautiful.
Tal actually he's a great dad. I don't know if you've ever seen some of his posts. He
didn't know he existed until 3 days ago.
Okay, well now you
That's
do.
The beauty of the network.
And Tal is I remember you telling stories about going out with your son doing Pokemon Go, right?
Oh, we did Pokemon Go for a while. He doesn't really get it, but he'll go out and look at the characters. Oh, catch that! Actually, that's not what it sounds like. But you know what your kid means.
Yeah.
Naturally. But yeah, run around. But he doesn't really get video games, much to my dismay, because I'm all about the video games, technology.
That's true, because you're
80s kid. I'm an 80s kid. I was born into Nintendos and computers and inundated in video games and TV. He don't give a care. He couldn't care less about video games, TV. He just wants to play.
Have you got a quick question for Tal before we get Mr. Trevor Mulligan back on the mic?
No, I don't. I mean, no, not that Tal's not an interesting guy, but I just don't have a question.
Okay, well, Tal, we're still trying to get you to Orlando. Remember Orlando next year?
Hey, yeah. I am going to do everything I can to get out there, because that sounds like an outstanding spot. I mean, it's Orlando.
McPhee was telling me that, he says, we got to get Tal out there. He says, if I have to fly from Orlando to Portland and then carry Tal on my back,
I'll be your
walk
carry-on.
the distance.
Well, hang on. How were you described again? A Muppet Gary Busey?
A Muppet-looking Gary
Would that make
Busey.
me a Hodor?
Like a Hodor?
like a midget Hodor?
Well, actually, speaking of Hodor, we have some rather tall dads around here at the moment.
We do.
Okay.
There's one right over there.
I'm pretty sure that the stunt double for Lurch for the Addams Family is walking around here somewhere.
Don't say that about Mr.
That's my juxtaposition.
All right,
They are right over there.
Do you want to quickly swap out? We can have
Let's swap
Mr. Chris Bernholm.
Yes.
Yeah, sit down. You might have to adjust the mic.
Yeah, you're going to have to lift it up about 3 feet there, Chris. Okay,
You're live as
Mr.
well.
Christopher Bernholm, who hasn't been on SAHDPod since we did SAHDPod live in the long ago.
The very first one?
Oh yeah, we did that a long time ago.
That was before even we knew one another, before I'd done anything really with the dads, and certainly long before I was ever on the board. Now, Chris, you have just been let go from the board. How do you feel? Is it freeing?
Freedom! I thought of when I first, people keep asking me, like, how does it feel to be away from it? And, I've been technically on the board for 3 years, but working for the organization since 2012. So it's been about 5 years in there. So it feels good to be kind of like, letting go of that responsibility and letting guys who have the time and stuff like that to come in and lend their talents to it. So it's great.
Now, the one thing about when you're on the board, obviously, because it's a very different experience coming to a HomeDadCon when you were a board member as opposed to just a satellite who can flit around like a butterfly. You've done more of a butterfly stuff this time around, though, haven't you?
Yeah. I think, in past cons, I'd be more working and not really enjoying myself as much. It's more the behind the scenes kind of thing that I do sometimes. So just I think this year, with the planning committee and with me going back to teaching, I've had less of an impact, with certain things. So trying to help out while I can while I'm here.
Now, have you really enjoyed this convention? Or, I mean, what have you seen as to be? What's your highlight so far?
Yeah, I think what I try to do is I find sometimes that when I come back from these, I realize that I don't spend enough time talking to people and getting to know people that I don't really know that well. So I really made an effort to make sure every meal that I had, I sat with a different group, talked to guys that I've never seen before. Connect with those people who don't know me and maybe only know me online, but get to know them in person. And even though I'm exiting and I'm not going to be as much of a part of this, I think it's still important to reach those guys who maybe haven't made that connection with it, or this is the first time for them.
So do you feel that this is going to be a goodbye?
Maybe. I don't know. With teaching, it'll be a little bit difficult to come back to a convention. We always run it in the fall, right when school is starting. I've missed my daughter's birthday because she has one in September because of it. It may work out that way that I won't be involved with it for a while. Who knows? But my wife has mentioned to me, this is an organization that I put a lot of time into and I really feel strongly about. So, she said, don't write it all off like you're saying, like you're never going to go to a convention again. You don't know what's going to happen down the road, and maybe you'll miss it and want to reconnect with those guys, and so. I've made a lot of friends through the organization, so that part of it is bittersweet because I don't spend as much time with them. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to leave a vacuum.
Yeah.
Got to leave a vacuum. But Orlando,
yeah,
I mean,
it's pretty close to Philly.
I'm sure you can get one of those $75 fights, man.
I probably could.
Okay, are you going to go and get us another person then, Mr. Trevor Mulligan? You have to speak into the mic.
I thought you wanted me to sit back down.
I do want you to sit back down. We're going to let Bertie go and do his thing.
Okay.
Look, Bertie,
Right.
and
Thank you.
again, Chris Bernhold, very grateful for all of your time and service to the National At Home Dad Network. He's leaving the board this year, but I'm sure he'll be back.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Chris.
We could have interviewed him.
We're doing a live
I can do one
SAHDPod
real
show.
quick, but just let you guys. So are the guys from the convention listening to this?
I have it on live on the LA Dads page as well, and I have
Okay,
tagged
we've
on
got
the-
Mr. Austin Dowd here. Austin has been on a SAHDPod once before when we had the rally convention. He was interviewed by Mr. David Torellia. Say hello to the crowd there, Austin. We have exactly one listener.
Hello, crowd. Hello, one listener. If you're a listener that's at the convention, I came by the table here to just let you guys know that group photo in about 18 minutes up front of the hotel.
What a wowzer. What a wowzer. Okay, but that doesn't matter. I probably will be, group photo including...
If you got a name badge, be out front in 20 minutes.
Well, 20. We plan on being a 40-minute podcast anyway.
That's true.
It's
We're
on
going
the
to be quick.
door.
So you said 20 minutes?
Yeah, at 4:30, you need to be out in front of the front doors of the hotel.
This is really not fucking interesting.
We talked about this in the board meeting, man. You were there.
Oh, I was only there
Okay,
in
we can talk about
body.
something fun. What do you guys want to talk about?
Okay, what have you enjoyed so far? Because you took a bit of a relaxed attitude. We were just talking to Chris about how it's very different, obviously, being a board member coming to a con as being to a satellite. Now, obviously, you have done some things because you're now the new president. You were voted on this year.
Yeah.
But you didn't have to do as much as you did at Rally.
No, yeah, like as a returning ex-convention chair, this is a lot of fun for a convention. So I wasn't involved in having to deal with the caterers or the food put out or the table layouts or the signage. I did some work on the badges, but my work for that ended a week before the convention. So I got to show up for the first time in 3 years as like an attendee. Like I went to breakouts and I contributed to the discussion in the breakouts, and I haven't done that in a while. So.
And people have discussed that you've lost a lot of body weight, and with that have become a much calmer person. Is this true?
Yes. Yeah. So last year, David didn't get to work with me last year, otherwise he would understand. But this David over here did.
That makes him angry.
David Rogers can tell you, like I was an angry fat man last year, like. So I kind of, after the convention, kind of had some decisions to make about how I dealt with stress and anxiety. And so my wife had quit drinking before the convention, and I decided to join her as soon as the convention was over. So I had my last drink Monday night after the convention, and then I put it in the cabinet, and it stayed there. So I kind of quit drinking. Once the drinking was out of my life, I found anxiety and stress were a little bit easier to deal with, and just started making baby steps towards that. Once I had anxiety kind of reined in a little bit, losing weight was a little bit easier. So started eating better and doing yoga and like all the stuff that goes into healthy living. And
So as far as coming to the convention now, you're just a chill man, enjoying the Pacific Northwest, right?
yeah, weed is recreational. So
You can say that on this show. We don't care. We did have a show, didn't we, Dan?
420.
Where
Yeah.
we had that, but we also had the previous convention show where we made that family friendly, right?
Yeah, we did that one. The pre-con show we did family friendly, no fucking cursing at all.
okay.
Yeah, so you can swear on this show. You can talk
Yeah,
about
very sanitary.
well, it's not illegal here; it's legal.
Yeah, so like coming from North Carolina, like
Swearing?
it's not really an opportunity that we have for, trying all kinds of different strains of marijuana and edibles and things like that. So, dealing with alcohol last year was a substance issue, and I was a little bit hesitant about trying, but I found like I'm really not that drawn to it here. Like it's nice to try and get to like taste, what an edible is, but it's not really been a key factor of my vacation here. It's been like I don't know if I told you guys, but like one of the things we did to deal with anxiety was yoga and things like that. And so my wife and I wanted to try something new, so we did partner acrobatics because they have like a circus training camp here in Portland, and so we did an intro to acrobatics class a couple nights ago. It was awesome.
Oh, because we do have to say, both Dan, you came with your missus.
That's right, and we did some sexual acrobatics ourselves.
Nice, yeah, we got a lot of that into.
Okay, and
Learned some new moves.
came with. I've got to stop saying come. Arrived with their missus and no kids, so it is really it's not date night, it's date week, right?
Yeah.
More or less.
So how's that worked out? Because being at the con, a lot of guys will say they want to go to the con and they want to be on their own without their wives, but really the con is a place that you can come with your missus if you want to, right?
You can if you want to.
Yeah, we're not going to hold it against you if you do. The way I looked at it was, being from the Southeast, there's never really a chance that we're going to have to need to be in Portland again. And on our vacation list, I'm not sure if Portland would show up when it came time to like a kid-free week without the kids because it's such a long travel. So I just figured, my wife and I discussed it, and if I had to be here anyways for the convention, it's not that much more work to get her here as well. And so we came a few days early. We had time to get out and see Portland. And then we're going to have a full day after the convention to kind of get out and see a little bit more before taking a red eye home on Sunday.
So quickly, before we bring Trevor back on, what have you enjoyed the most so far about the con?
Being able to participate.
Yeah, I was going to say, just being able to show up and not like run around like a chicken with its head cut off. It's been a very relaxed environment for me, whereas like Josh here has been running food carts up and down the aisles and replenishing snacks, and then we get to harp on him about his budget spreadsheet and all the fun stuff.
Okay, because Austin is talking about Josh Bellish, who is he's also just been voted onto the National At Home Dad board this year, and if he's willing to take a moment to sit down and say hello, but he says, no, I cannot do it.
I was going to say, this moment would be good because I got to get back up and start letting guys know about group photos.
All right, I'll see you later then, Austin. Thanks for coming to chat,
in
mate.
about 10 minutes.
I would love to, David.
Okay, Josh said that he would love to, but he doesn't really like any of us.
No, he thinks we're
That's what the hand meant.
Okay, but we're back. How many minutes have we got left here?
I think we have 13 minutes.
13 minutes. We should probably talk about content, right?
We probably should. Content of the whole conference, yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to start in rotation because, Dan, you have notes. You are probably one of the best note takers I have seen at any convention ever.
I wouldn't say best note taker, but I did write a few things down. Yeah.
Okay, would you like to start us off and rotate through with Mr. Trevor Mulligan, who's joined us back again?
Sure. But you want me to start up with the breakouts, or just?
I'd like you to tell us some notes, man. What were some of the things that you've written down in your little black book?
Well, I mostly drew pictures of boobs and joints.
So some of my highlights, I enjoyed Belief.
Okay, that's true. Yeah.
Glenn, I thought he did an awesome. He had an awesome.
Do you want to explain who he is? Because he's not that. He's well known amongst his circle, but
right. Glenn Belief. What's his Henry? Thank you. he's transformed from a hip hop artist into a father advocate, really, and a big YouTuber. So his YouTube channel got noticed, and he's doing awesome for changing social. We're talking about and bringing up the subject of racism and the differences in black and white and how we deal with that in our society today. And I thought it was a great topic. Another highlight was one of the things that I loved was the trailblazing
Panel. Straight table.
Thing.
Yeah.
Straight table panel. It was amazing and awesome to be able to see the dads that have been the stay-at-home dads along with their grown children sitting right next to them. I got a lot out of that. I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was really nice to get the perspective of a child of a stay-at-home dad, because sometimes, we think we're fucking them up, man.
Yeah, you don't know if you are or not, and so it's like you question that, and then be able to see something that has been through that already.
Right.
It's a really long rotation, though, to figure out that whether or not you fucked them up or not.
Right. So it was nice to see two grown men that have, since left home, and they're like both in their 30s, and well-adjusted people, and probably the most well-adjusted people I've ever met, and it's just good.
I agree. We have to talk about Aaron Phillips, right?
Well, he's not on yet, but we saw his.
We saw the breakout session.
Good, I thought I missed it. I was like,
no, it's keynotes tonight. It's after this.
Yeah, he's gonna rock it later on and talk about bot flies.
Okay.
Bot flies on his penis.
Do they make it bigger?
Do what?
Bot flies. I mean, is there a lot of swelling associated with penile bot flies?
Probably. I would think so.
Okay, now come on, back to your book. I see reams and reams of notes here, and the only thing that you've come up with so far is the smashing the man box. And how did that explain smashing the man box?
All right, smashing the man box. The very first keynote was by a man named Brian. I don't see.
I'll look up the name while you
his
continue.
Name is Brian
Hillman.
Hillman.
Heilman. Yeah.
Heilman?
Heilman. Yeah. Heilman. Heilman. And he said the term smashing the man box. He's actually a sociologist, demographer who works with Pro Mundo, which is an international organization that promotes fatherhood and active fathers and the lives of their children, and works for gender equality in the non-paid work, so that
Get to the smashing the man box bit.
Anyways, and he talked about how there's like this box that men are supposed to fit into according to societal mores and norms, and he said, but you guys are smashing the man box. To which I looked at the guy next to me and said, that did not sound good. So yeah, but then all weekend we decided to own it, so we've all been smashing the man box this weekend.
Some of us have.
Right.
I didn't.
Smashing something.
Well, let's go away from that. Have you got another sentence that you can throw in there?
Well, another thing that I pointed out is or was pointed out to me is that our partners don't necessarily know what we do as stay-at-home dads. And what it was is, short story long, my wife actually got to be a fly on the wall in one of the panels, and the word logistics kept coming up. And she had befriended a reporter that's here. And the word logistics. Now, guys, we know what we mean by logistics, right? They were like, man, it's like some freaking stay-at-home dad code word. What the hell do they mean by logistics? I was like, logistics is just making the shit work, getting it done, who has to be where, what has to be done. But, we're guys, so we call it, logistics, where they didn't, I guess, as women, they didn't have a word assigned to what...
Yeah, but we are very creative with our words.
Right, we want to make sure that, people know this is a job.
We
use terms like logistics and diversity and...
would you say that stay-at-home dads have the best words?
Probably. So many words.
We have the most time to think about them.
So many words. I have the best words.
The best words? Okay, what else? Come on. I mean, logistics, and one more thing, and then Trevor, I need something from you too, man.
Hey, I threw those first three out. I've
got two more.
Don't be looking at me like I haven't been.
Because we do.
I've got two more.
And
Go on.
I want to get in this picture, so I'm gonna
we got 2 minutes. Another thing that she pointed out to me was that a lot of the guys just wanted to know in that panel, it's like, if I do that for my wife, will it get me laid? And a lot of guys were like that. And it's like,
It's not the way you need to think about it.
no, it's not the way you need to think about it at all. But one thing that defiantly came in my mind is this morning it was indicated that a certain time was the time to go to the bathroom, and I was like, fuck, man, I shit when I want. All right.
Yeah, somebody did say that we had to put up our hands.
Yeah, like raise your hands and say it's no.
He's supposed to be crashing with me now.
Okay, well, do we have to run now?
I think we do. We have a group photo, and I was told that I'm not allowed to come back next year if I don't get in the photographs.
Oh, okay. Well, look, I'm going to quickly tie it up. Orlando is actually where the HomeDadCon 2018 is. I probably, I suppose I'll be there. Will you be there?
Dude, you live in Orlando, like
Yeah, but there's going to be another hurricane.
probably, but still.
You may not live there. Is that what you're saying? Because the hurricane's going to come and blow you away.
Have you not seen The Wizard of Oz?
That was a tornado. But yes, to answer your question, I will be there. As of right now, my tentative plan is to road trip it from the Dallas area through New Orleans the week prior to make it to
Get on
Orlando.
that 10, go across.
Yeah.
I hate I-10. Okay, so, well, look, we're going to have to quickly tie the show up because we have to actually go and have our photo taken
gonna boogie, guys.
to prove
Thanks
that
for
we're
having
here.
me on.
Okay, well, look, like us on Facebook, thank our Facebook page. No, I'd like to thank my guest joining me, Mr. Trevor Mulligan.
I'm a guest.
Okay, Mr. Dan Scott.
Yeah.
Hey.
Anybody else who happened to join us on the show, and everybody have a super daddy fun day.
Woo!
So is your podcast.